When an organisation has decided that coaching is an appropriate learning intervention for them, then they will want to think about who should be the coach. Should they use someone from within the organisation, or should they use someone external to the organisation? This session considers the use of internal coaches. By the end of this session, you will be able to identify the factors to consider in planning how internal coaches can be used, compare the advantages and disadvantages of different types of internal coach, and assess the context for using each type of coach. So organisations can use their own employees as coaches, or they can use coaches from outside the organisation. Organisations may use line managers as coaches for their teams, or they could employ a dedicated internal coach, or they could develop a team of coaches who have coaching as part of their role. Firstly, let's think about using line managers as coaches. Write down what are the benefits of developing line managers as coaches, and then what are the limitations to the effectiveness of line managers as coaches. Some answers that you may have given to the first question could be that it helps develop a more participative management style. When a line manager is coaching, then they will help the team member through asking questions to come up with their own solutions rather than depending on the manager. Coaching has been shown to be effective in improving performance and is an effective process in performance management. A line manager is usually aware as soon as development is needed, and so can step in early on and help the team member. Coaching helps the line manager build a productive relationship with the team member. Also, a line manager will normally need to spend less time on acquiring background information because they'll already be aware of the situation. And a line manager will already be aware of the needs of the organisation, the team and other team members, and the context in which the coaching is taking place. Having the line manager as coach means that coaching is easily and widely available to all members of the team and not seen as something special that happens. So what are the limitations of using line managers as coaches? You may have included some of these. There may be issues with confidentiality. In order for coaching to help someone, it may be important for them to divulge information that they feel would prejudice them in other areas of their career and working life. They may not want to give this information to their manager, and so will hold back and then not be able to address the situations fully. This will largely depend on the relationship between the manager and the team member, and on the context of the coaching. For example, what if the team member is discussing their career path, and in a coaching session they tell their manager that they're planning to set up their own business? It could be that if they were to divulge that information, that might affect how the manager then deals with the person outside of the coaching environment. This links into the limitations which are caused by the status of the manager and the ability for total openness and honesty in a coaching conversation. It works both ways. It may be that the client feels less than comfortable divulging information, and it may be that the manager is not able to be honest and open with the client because of future plans that he is privy to, and for operational reasons is not able to tell the team member. For example, planned redundancies. Coaching will sometimes involve helping someone with dealing with deep-rooted issues, and if someone is taking the role of coach alongside many other responsibilities, then they may not have the skills or the ability to deal with such issues. Another limitation may be about time. If the manager has other responsibilities and management activities that they are expected to carry out, then there may be little time to coach, or it may be perceived as being less important than other activities. And then there is the ability of the manager to be appropriately non-judgmental and to leave behind their long-term preconceptions of the person and the situations. This will mean that the manager may not be able to take the judgment-free attitude that's required of a coach. Because of the nature of the manager-team member relationship, it may be not so easy to evaluate the effectiveness. Once again, the status may get in the way of open and honest feedback about how valuable the coaching has been and the skills of the coach. And lastly is the nature of the need for coaching. Team members' performance may well be to do with the relationship that they have with their manager. Perhaps they're not able to deal with the manager's management style or their way of handling certain situations. When the line manager is the coach, it makes it very difficult for such issues to be dealt with. Next, we're going to think about having a dedicated internal coach within the organisation. Write down what are the key advantages and disadvantages of having a dedicated internal coach. Some of the answers you may have thought of may be that team members may feel more comfortable with being open and honest with a dedicated coach that is outside of their own team. Secondly, it's easier to ensure that the work of a dedicated internal coach is linked to the overall strategic needs of the organisation or team. Having a dedicated coach can help to ensure coaching is available to everyone and help to build a coaching culture throughout the organisation, not just those parts where the line manager has coaching abilities. A dedicated coach can be highly skilled, qualified and experienced because of the level of coaching that they will be doing. As we've already discussed, sometimes because line managers have many other things to do, they can't afford the time to become highly qualified in just one aspect of their role, but a dedicated coach does not have those restraints. A well-used and effective coach can be a far lower cost to the organisation than constantly employing an external coach. A dedicated coach will be familiar with the organisation's culture, business plan and objectives, and so can use their coaching in a way that will most readily meet those needs. Having a dedicated coach provides evidence to prospective employees, stakeholders and others of the organisation's commitment to learning and development. And as a dedicated coach's sole responsibility is to coach, then they can become expert, well-practiced and highly valuable to the organisation. Examples of the disadvantages of this type of setup are that the coach may still be seen as part of the organisation and so thought of as being biased or having issues with confidentiality. If there is one or a few dedicated coaches as opposed to using external or line managers, then there could be less choice in matching the coach to the person being coached. It's very important to the success of coaching that the client feels comfortable with their coach. Another important consideration is that very often when there is a dedicated coach available, managers will use them rather than fulfilling their responsibilities for managing performance, handling conflict or handling other issues. And sometimes this will even lead to coaching not being regarded as part of a line manager's responsibility. And finally, as part of the organisation, the coach may find it less easy to take on a detached outsider's view. What other advantages and disadvantages did you find? Some organisations are now creating a team of coaches who have other primary roles but want to learn to coach and be part of the coaching provision. In this situation, coaches can be chosen from throughout the organisation in terms of the spread of hierarchical levels so that people can be coached by people of an appropriate level within the organisation, and in terms of specialist knowledge and in terms of different departments. To help your learning further, write a short report recommending the development and use of internal coaching for an organisation that is wanting to improve the quality of its leadership. Include recommendations as to which types of internal coaches should be used.